Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orphan. Today is December 4th, 2024, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. You'll notice a little bit of a difference. I'm usually super dark. And this morning, our producer, Sam, and we got on Be Live, and I was like, what is going on? Like, why am I always so dark? So we tried some different things, and in my mind, I'm thinking, if I'm dark, add more light. Oh, no, my friends, decrease the light. And so I don't have a light shining down on me anymore. And I've just got the ring light. And look, you can actually see me. I don't look like a missing person anymore. So anyways, I hope you're all having a great day and that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Please let me know that you're here with me if you're live. Otherwise, be sure to leave your comments on YouTube. Okay, so it's officially the winter season, you guys. It's the holidays, which brings us to our 12 days of learning. And I know that this is what you've all been waiting for, is my singing voice again. So today is December 4th, which actually brings us to our third day of learning because we started on Monday, which was December 2nd. So on our third day of learning, KHM Travel Group gave to me a new location for luxury. See how that rhymes? I worked on that. So Luxury Symposium this year moved to Hotel Cleveland in downtown Cleveland, and we had 21 suppliers this year and 70 agents in attendance. And I'm really excited, you guys. Believe it or not, we are already working on Luxury Symposium for 2025 in September, and more information will be released in 2025 early, so you guys have plenty of planning time. But the dates should be in the portal for all of you guys that are KHM agents. But we're really excited, and it was such a fantastic event this year. It really built on the inaugural year, and we couldn't have been more proud of that event. So remember, also, before the holiday, I shared with you the new plan for 2025 for KHM Today. We have new episodes almost every other week. We'll have a schedule out for you. But the great news is, and I just found this out yesterday, that if you don't get an episode of KHM Today, you get an episode of Travel Stories Unpacked, the podcast hosted by the one, the only Ashley Newton. And more good news, Ashley is getting a permanent co-host, our own Annie Yu. So when you can't enjoy this show, you can enjoy that show. So we hope you guys will tune in and download those. Download their podcast or listen to it. And it's just amazing. So just look for that in 2025. Okay, so real quick before we get started with our guests, what's new in the news? You guys, Notre Dame opened again after 5 years after that brutal fire. The opening took place over the weekend and was a huge success and included a lot of high-profile people, including bishops from all over Europe, some celebrities, and they did do a little bit of a tour of the inside of the cathedral, and it is stunning. So if you or clients are heading to France this summer, be sure to check it out because it is open. All right, you guys, I had the pleasure of meeting this fabulous lady over, when was that? May, at our gold platinum trip for KHM producing agents at the Iberostar Grand in Mexico, in Cancun area. And so she's here with us today. And we're going to talk about rebranding and all the changes with our Iberostar. So please welcome Justyna from Iberostar. Hello.
Hello. Happy Wednesday from Mexico.
I'm
Actually,
so
it's so
excited to
funny.
see
We
you.
met here at the Grand, which is now the Joya Iberostar, and here I am in my room at the Joya, coming live from Mexico. It's beautiful, a little chilly for Mexico, I would say. So if you're coming
Really?
here in the next week or so, pack a little sweater for the evening or a hoodie for your morning run. Still beautiful waking up with the view and the hospitality and the team. It's amazing. So thank
I
you for
really
having
did
me.
love my stay there. It was the first time I had been there, and from the minute you walk in, you feel well taken care of. And I enjoyed my room. I enjoyed the pool. I loved the beach, was beautiful. The food was fantastic. So, Bill always said it was one of his favorite properties. And I have to agree. It's just kind of one of those that you know what to expect, and it's consistently great.
It's amazing. And now we closed the Joya during the month of August and we did some changes. So we refreshed the rooms, we changed the look of the restaurants, we added some swim up rooms, we changed the lobby. So, not to disturb the guest, we decided to close the hotel for the entire month, and now it looks even better. So, we are ready for the holidays, we are ready for Christmas. The Christmas trees are up, the decoration, it looks beautiful. So, we cannot wait for the season to begin.
So let's talk about that sort of rebranding. Is there a significance to the name Joya? Was there a reason for the rebrand?
We changed the name in July because, as you know, we have hotels for families, for adults. We have it all. You name it. Iberostar has 120 hotels all over the globe, right? Starting, of course, with Palma de Mallorca, where we are based, and Mexico, and the Caribbean. Now, new babies coming in Aruba, Miami, that I'm going to talk a little later. But yeah, we changed the name to kind of give it a little explanation. So we have the Waves, which is the standard Iberostar affordable luxury, fun, playful, great for families, maybe with little kids, people that want to have a beautiful beach, great all-inclusive, great experience, but more on the affordable side.
Mhm.
So they're playful. That's why we put it Waves. Then we have
Okay.
Selection, which is the family premium product, which will be your Maya, your Lindo, your Selection Bavaro. The rooms are bigger. They're all junior suites. You have access to the water parks. There's a la carte every night. There's a concierge service. So you have that extra cherry on the top for families that are looking for a little bit more premium. And we still kept the name Selection. And Grand, that you remember as a Grand, now is Joya. We named the Joya because it's from the Spanish, name Joya, which is jewel, which is like our best product, and is a lot of joy the moment you walked in. As you said, the Grand, the Joya is the hotel that you come to get spoiled. This is the hotel that you come to the spa, play golf, and eat lobster for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's really like that. So we name it to Joya, and we kind of change so it's not confusing. And now we are moving with the Joya in Aruba, and we are not stopping there because there's definitely more hotels that we're adding to the portfolio, and we are super excited about all the additions coming soon, real soon.
When we talk about all inclusives at our educational events, it used to be that we'd talk Mexico, Dominican, Jamaica, right? That's really all we had to really focus on. But it's changed so much. There are all inclusives all over the place now. And those are
True.
still where they are really abundant. But we're seeing them in Europe like never before. We're seeing them on other Caribbean islands that are a little bit smaller. So
Mhm.
does Iberostar have like a game plan for kind of looking at certain markets and figuring out where they want to be?
Well, December 18, we are adding Aruba. Aruba is not gonna be all inclusive because of the destination. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a kind of Aruba. It's great, popular. There's a lot of restaurants, a la carte. So that hotel is not gonna be all inclusive, but it's gonna be the Joya. We are adding more of the Joyas in Playa Mita. We have all inclusive in Spain. That's where everything started. So if you go to Palma de Mallorca, if you go to Tenerife, we do have all inclusive hotels there. So it really depends with us because we have a city hotels and we do have the all-inclusive brand, which is the closest to our heart, right? That's what we do and that's what we are well known for. That's why with Aruba coming up, people are asking, oh, is it going to be all-inclusive? And the answer is no. It's a European plan, which means room only. You can add breakfast if you wish, but they are phenomenal options, restaurants, 7 restaurants to choose from. And there is a great dining. We are right on the Eagle Beach, wonderful location, the nicest beach in the area. So many cafes, restaurants, and places to walk from our properties. We are very excited, very proud. It's a hotel that it's more of a premium luxury side. It's brand new, totally different look, very sophisticated, very clean, 240 rooms. We are very proud and can't wait for all of you guys to visit and
Yes,
experience Aruba with us.
I'm excited to go there in January and to see you there. Tell me about, when changes like this happen, it's hard for advisors to keep up. Where's the best place for them to go to kind of learn about the changes, learn about what's included in each, you know, segment of
Category,
the Iberostar
absolutely.
brand?
Absolutely. We do have a website for all the advisors, iberostaragents.com/US. You don't need a login, you don't need a password. You can find information about the hotels, pictures, videos, promos, resources, fact sheets, you name it. But the best way is to contact your BDM team. I am in charge of national accounts, but we do have an amazing team of 8 that it's our people are all over the United States, that you just email them, call them, text, whatever is your preference of contact. And we're going to schedule one-on-one, maybe a coffee, maybe a lunch, maybe a little Zoom like we are doing here, to explain, to help you to get there yourself. Because for you, really, we want you to come and experience. It's such a difference when you see the product. And because we have so many hotels, it can get confusing, right? Because they're all different and we have different levels, which people love because everyone is on
Right,
a different budget. It's great for weddings. I can tell you that for weddings, Iberostar is one of the best property because everyone has different budget.
right.
Someone is coming with kids. Then you have the grandparents that want to stay at the adults only section. We have it all, and we can mix and match
Mhm.
and still make them happy for that one evening. So I would say your BDM team is really your best contact, and they're
Perfect.
amazing. They're superstars, and they're always traveling, but they're always available to have one more appointment with one of your advisors.
I love that. So, do you have a favorite property?
it's it's hard. I was thinking
It's
about it
hard, isn't
last
it?
night. It's like picking your favorite child.
Yep.
It's like you so many hotels. Um, I have to say that Mexico has my heart, and the Maya selection Maya here at the resort that I am currently, because I'm a mom. My son is 15, and I travel with him. The Maya has everything for different ages, groups of ages, family. There's so much to do. The water park, the lazy river. It looks very authentic Mexican. So you feel like you're in Mexico. You have animals, beautiful beach. It's just such a fun, vibing property. There's always something going on. If you want to go to the quiet pool and read your book, you can. If you want to be on the big slide, you can. We have the shopping center with all the stores, which is the crepe store, the ice cream, the taco station. It's a lot going on. So because of my family, Maya, it's my favorite, and I feel like it's always popular. It's
Yeah,
number one seller for our family section, for
that's
sure.
awesome. If there was a location to put an Iberostar that there isn't already, where would you want it to be?
Hmm. Well, right after Mexico, Greece is very close to my heart. And I go to Greece every year, and we already have 2 hotels in Crete.
Hmm.
If I can put one more in the Greek island somewhere like Santorini or Paros, or maybe even one
Hmm.
more in the Greek island, I would, because of the hospitality and the European Mediterranean vacation vibe. And Greece is also getting very popular, I know, with all of you and the cruises and people
Amazing.
going there and stopping. Probably it would be Greece. Yes, I will add one more if we have a chance, to the 2 that we already have that are all inclusive, as a matter of fact.
I'm going to have
So
to check those out on the island of Crete, you said, right?
Yes, they are
Okay.
amazing. They are 45 minutes from the Heraklion airport.
Hmm.
Beautiful properties. They are all inclusive. You don't have to do it. You can mix and match
Hmm.
with all the great restaurants and things to do. But we have quite a few in Europe. So yes, that will be
Wonderful.
my choice if I have a choice. Yeah, Crete, and I can even move there to manage and help.
Sign me up. Yep, you volunteer, right? That's wonderful. Well, Justyna, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing all the changes with Iberostar. I can't wait to see you in January and experience the new hotel in Aruba. And we just thank you so much for your time and wish you a wonderful holiday season.
Same for you. Thank you for all you do. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope to see you in Aruba or somewhere warm next time, all of you guys.
Yes,
And please find us, find the team for more information and how to visit us.
perfect. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. All right, you guys, what I didn't mention at the top of the hour was that it's International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and we are excited to have our own Cody Reckart with us. Thank you for joining us, Cody. I think we got your audio figured out. Please
I
tell me
hope
that
so. Can
yes.
you hear me?
Yay, we can
Okay,
hear
great.
you. Isn't it
Perfect.
just such a funky thing that you think it's working and then, you're clicking all these buttons? I don't know what you finally clicked, but I'm glad we can hear you.
So I had to transfer to my phone, so the audio is a little weird. That's fine.
Nope, it sounds great. It sounds great. So thanks so much for joining us here. I I I want to kind of know, what does this day mean to you, and is it anything different than any other day?
So I wouldn't say personally is anything different, but it's good to, tell people about disabilities and help agents to book accessible travel.
And do you think that because you are an agent with a disability, this is like the only thing that people think you do? And if
Well,
so, how do you shift that mindset?
I'm sure that's probably what most people assume is all I do is accessible travel. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would shift the mindset because I like people asking me about accessible travel
Mhm.
and being that expert for accessible travel. So I don't know if I would say I would change that, but I also want people to know that just because you book accessible travel, that isn't all you do, right? Because
Mhm.
we know we're experienced in these destinations and we know them well.
So, what is it that you think? What is like a misnomer, like something or something that you've seen and change and improve over the years when it comes to accessible travel that you've been like, finally, they're getting it?
So they're working, I wouldn't say they perfected all this yet, but like some cruises are now using automatic balcony doors where you push a button and the door opens for you so you don't have to try and struggle with it.
Hmm.
The smart elevators they're bringing out now for people with visually impaired is great. They lowered the beds, so now people can transfer easier out of their wheelchairs into the beds. So there are definitely improvements happening. I wouldn't say it's perfected yet, but they're definitely
Right.
making strides.
And that's on cruise. Have you seen improvements on land? And I know sometimes that's hard because not every country has the same requirements that we do. So, do you find that a challenge when you're trying to book internationally?
So I would say sometimes it can be difficult.
Hmm.
The doors, I mean, they have to be rated for fire and sometimes they can be heavier. And you got beds that are on platforms that people with disabilities can't get equipment underneath of with Hoyer lifts and equipment that they bring with them. So I would say there are challenges, but most of the time, somebody might be traveling with somebody that can assist them. But I wouldn't say there can be difficulties.
What sort of resources have you found useful besides your own experience that would be helpful to share with agents?
So I would definitely say a good starting point for agents is using the DE&I resources that KHM provides them with. It's definitely a great stepping stone, but you still need to have conversations with your clients. Like if they have difficulty walking a few steps, how long can they travel before they'll need a mobility aid?
Mm,
Or, I mean, even food requirements, right? Like you may have a dietary restriction. I mean, having those conversations with your client can help you plan their dream vacation.
do you, oh shoot, I lost my question. and it was a good one. Do you think that, oh, I can't remember. So I'm just going to read the one that's on my paper because it's going to come to me. Shoot. Oh my gosh, I'm never at a loss for words, Cody, and I totally lost my question. Crud. And it was a good one. Ah. Moving forward, what do you think? What would you like to see happen within the industry?
Oh, that's a loaded question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I can't talk for everybody, but I would like to see, like I said, the platform beds are a real issue.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, cruising, something that somebody doesn't think about very often, or like the bar stools, right? You go to a bar and a lot of them are bolted into the ground. So if someone has a chair with a lift, they can't go to the bar. And if there's no wait staff, then that becomes an issue. And they need I mean, there's not really a lot of accessible bar tops, that are lowered. I mean, I've been places where all I saw was one. They had one, the whole entire area, there was one that I could access. And accessible bathrooms are another big issue that needs to be addressed.
So what are ways that you think this is it conversations? Like I feel like these conversations happen. It's more the action. Do you feel like it's just is it just a lack of knowledge? Is it a cost issue? Is it oh, we think that 6 are enough, that'll be fine.
I would say, I mean, because, every disability is different.
Mhm.
So unless you're living that disability every single day, you're going to not think of something or miss the mark on it. So I think having the conversations and also, telling them, hey, I had this problem accessing this area.
Mm,
You have to have that conversation with cruise lines or destinations because they're not going to fix it unless they
right.
know.
Right. Okay, I remembered my question now. Conversations can be hard, right? With potential clients or with clients because these are sensitive topics. You don't want to
Right.
use the wrong language. So, what have you learned over the years as ways to even, approach your clientele, and just finding the right words? Can you give us some of the phrases that you use that end up making the conversation easier instead of harder?
So I would ask them when you first start talking to a client, I would start with, I mean, what they prefer to be labeled, like, because some people don't like the word disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's
So,
tricky. I
what's
mean,
the
you're never going to have the right
alternative?
words perfectly.
Right. What's the alternative to that?
I mean, I
Is
would
it
say
challenge?
challenges or
Mm-hmm.
what would be difficult in this scenario. I would kind of phrase it like that,
Mm-hmm.
is how I would probably phrase that question. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, get deep deep dive with them, but just getting hey, I know you may not be able to walk long distances, like you go to Disney. I mean, you're walking 8 miles a day probably.
Right.
Like, are you gonna need a mobility aid for those long distances? Because it's not just someone that's wheelchair bound. I mean, it could be someone that
Mm-hmm.
is bigger and they sprain their back or something like that, that they still need a mobility aid. Or, when you go overseas and you have the outlets that are 220, let them know to take an adapter or an inverter for their, charging their devices or their
Mm.
CPAPs or anything like that. I mean,
Do you feel when I ask these questions, it's usually kind of we go through the whole conversation. And one of the last things I ask is there anything I need to know about you or your family that's going to make this trip easier for you? Or I'll say, are there any mobility or dietary concerns that I need to know about? So that's kind of my opening. But do you feel like most people, if there is a prominent concern, we'll bring that up first and we'll share that in the opening as opposed to me waiting to kind of ask that? Do you feel like in your experience they say, oh, hey, we want to travel. And by the way,
So I would say most of the time they'll open with, hey, I want to travel. Here's my concern. I
okay.
might need a mobility device or not, long excursions. They may not say, hey, I use a power wheelchair. So I always just ask the questions. Do you use a
Mm-hmm.
walker? Do you use a scooter? Is your wheelchair collapsible? Will it be able to fit underneath a bus? I mean, can you walk into a bus? Then I start
Mm-hmm.
kind of bringing those questions out. So, I mean,
Right.
if you have a client, you're just booking a normal vacation, you have to ask them, right? I mean, do they have kids? What's the ages of the kids? Do you like, I mean, if they don't like snorkeling, you're not going to book them a snorkeling tour, right? I
Right.
mean, kind of that same concept of, hey, I want to just do a bus tour or I just want to walk the city. It's kind of asking those questions like you would a normal vacation. Just a
Mm-hmm.
couple additional questions.
Right. Right. Where have you found most success in your vacations? Where have you just loved that kind of just made vacation vacation?
So I would say I personally like cruising because once you're there, you have your equipment in your room, you don't have to worry about anything. But I will say European countries are a little bit easier to navigate because they're more accessibility conscious. So, I mean, it's not hard to find a taxi with a lift on it.
Is
It's
that so?
people, yeah, it's actually really easy. People don't know that, but with my clients, because I've experienced these locations and I've been there and I've had difficulties before, I can
Mm-hmm.
tell them how to work around it so they can experience this, having a vacation and not have to worry about, oh, how am I going to get a lift? Is there a bus there?
Mm-hmm.
All these questions that they're going to have.
Is there some place that you experienced that you wish had been better when it comes to accessibility? That
So
you
I
were
would
like, oh, I'm
say,
so excited.
I would say the most difficult was probably going to areas like, Barcelona or, I mean, you can't go there now, but St. Petersburg, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these older towns may not be able to equip for people with disabilities. There may be steps, they may not have ramps.
Right.
But I mean, you have to kind of let your client know that, like, hey, these may be a problem, I don't know. And then
Mm-hmm.
asking them, there may be a step down into something, would that be a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to be able to do everything.
Right.
You got to be realistic. I mean, there is going to be difficulties. I mean, you're not going to be able to go to Pompeii, right? I mean, it's not going to happen really because you're going to have to walk through that.
And do you feel like for the most part, as long as you're setting that, having that conversation, most of the clients are like, I get it. I'm good with it. Or I'm not good with it. We're changing course.
Right. I mean, and you kind of have to let them know, right? Like tenders,
Mm-hmm.
if they're not comfortable with this itinerary, finding something else that's comparable that allows you to
Right.
dock at the pier and get off and experience locations.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate your willingness to come on and kind of have this, conversation. It's not a hard one to have, but I think it goes back to, trying to find the right words, not offending anyone, but just really trying to learn the best ways to approach. And I appreciate you being so willing to do that.
Of course, I love talking about accessibility.
Well, we might have to have you on again. Have a wonderful holiday season. Are you planning a trip for yourself? Is that your Christmas gift?
So I'm not planning anything for Christmas this year. I'm going to Disney in a couple of weeks to try some new accessibility concerns that I think might be a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I
Well,
got for the holidays.
that's awesome. Well, we might have to recap on that because I'd love to know your thoughts.
Thanks.
So, all right, Cody, have a wonderful holiday season and thanks so much for joining us.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye. All right, you guys. See, it's just important to have the conversation. Start it, it's ongoing, but I just appreciate Cody so much for coming on. We met for the first time at Destination Success, and that was really, really a fun event. So thank you to everyone for being with us today. Thank you to all of our sponsors who continue to support the show. Next week, you guys, it's my birthday show, and it's a big one. Please join me as we chat about the solar eclipse with our very own Stephanie Kritz. I'll see you back here next time, same bat channel, 3 p.m. Eastern. Happy selling.